On a secluded dirt road, surrounded by dense forest and a serene lake, a driver spots a heartbreaking scene. A raccoon with an injured paw and her cub in the middle of the road. Stopping her car, she feels the urgent need to help. This story recounts the immediate rescue, the essential care, and the journey to full recovery, culminating in a happy ending for the raccoon and her cub. Anna drove peacefully along a narrow dirt road bordered by a dense forest on one side and a calm lake on the other. The afternoon sun filtered through the trees, creating dancing shadows on the road. She was enjoying the peace of the secluded place, far from the noise of the city, when something ahead caught her attention. In the middle of the road, she saw a small, furry shape, followed by a larger one. Approaching slowly, she reduced her speed and stopped the silver car at a safe distance. Upon closer inspection, Anna realized it was an adult raccoon lying on the ground with an injured and reddened paw. Beside her, a small, frightened cub snuggled up, emitting low sounds of distress. The mother raccoon raised her head, staring intently at the car in a protective posture, ready to defend her offspring despite her evident pain. Anna felt a pang in her heart at the sight. The animals were vulnerable, blocking the road, but clearly in urgent need of help. She turned off the engine and remained inside the vehicle for a few moments, assessing the situation. She knew that raccoons can be defensive when injured or protecting their young, but the mother's injured paw prevented them from moving quickly. Anna took a deep breath, deciding she couldn't simply walk past or ignore it. She was in the right place at the right time to intervene. Carefully, she slowly opened the car door, preparing to approach without frightening them further. Anna slowly exited the car, keeping her hands visible and speaking softly so as not to frighten the raccoons. She knew that wild animals, especially mothers protecting their young, could react unpredictably. The cub huddled even closer to its mother, while the adult raccoon emitted a low warning sound but didn't try to flee, likely due to intense pain in its injured and reddened paw. Anna stopped a few meters away, observing their movements and assessing how she could help without putting herself at risk. In the trunk of the car, she remembered having a cardboard box she used to carry groceries and an old towel. She decided that this could serve to transport them safely. First, she needed to gain some trust, or at least reduce their fear. Anna grabbed a bottle of water and some biscuits she had in the car, placing them on the ground at an intermediate distance. The mother raccoon sniffed the air but didn't move, prioritizing protecting her cub. The little one, however, showed curiosity, stretching its snout towards the food. After a few minutes of patience, Anna approached, crouching down to appear less threatening. With slow movements, she managed to place the towel on the ground near them and carefully wrapped the puppy first, who was less defensive. The mother watched everything attentively, but exhaustion and pain prevented her from attacking. Anna then managed to gently wrap both in the towel, keeping them together so that the mother would feel safer with the puppy by her side. She placed them inside the box, leaving it slightly open for ventilation. Anna placed the box with the raccoons in the back seat of the car, lining the space with another towel for greater comfort and stability. She closed the lid, leaving a sufficient opening for air circulation, ensuring that the mother and cub could see and feel each other. She started the engine slowly, avoiding sudden accelerations that could frighten them or worsen the pain of the injured paw. During the journey, she listened to the low sounds coming from the box. The cub seemed calmer, while the mother was breathing heavily, but without signs of excessive panic. She drove with extra caution along the dirt road, avoiding potholes to minimize the bumps. The lake and the forest receded as she approached the paved road leading to the nearest town. Anna kept the air conditioning at a moderate temperature, concerned about the animal's well-being in the afternoon heat. Every now and then she glanced in the rearview mirror to check on the crate, relieved to see that they remained quiet, probably exhausted from their ordeal. After about 40 minutes of careful driving, he arrived at the local veterinary clinic, a small establishment specializing in wild and domestic animals. He parked near the entrance and quickly got out to ask for help. He explained the situation to the receptionist, who immediately called a veterinarian and an assistant. They brought a suitable carrier and protective gloves, preparing to safely transfer the raccoons for initial examination, prioritizing emergency care for the mother's injured paw. The clinic staff received Anna quickly and efficiently. The veterinarian, wearing gloves and appropriate equipment, transferred the mother raccoon and her cub to an examination table in a separate room, keeping them together to reduce stress. First, they assessed the general condition of both animals. The cub seemed healthy, just frightened and slightly dehydrated, but without visible injuries. All initial attention was focused on the mother's injured and reddened paw, which had a deep cut, probably caused by some sharp object or trap in the forest. The veterinarian calmly sedated the adult raccoon lightly to carefully clean the wound, removing dirt and applying antiseptic. An X-ray was taken to check for fractures or more extensive bone damage. Fortunately, there was no break, only soft tissue damage, requiring stitches and antibiotic medication to prevent infection. The cub was examined in parallel by the assistant, who offered water and a suitable nutritional formula for young animals, noting that it tolerated the liquid well and began to calm down next to its mother. Anna waited in the waiting room, relieved that they had arrived in time. The veterinarian explained that recovery would be possible with the right care, but the animals would need to be kept under observation for a few days. He recommended transferring them to a nearby wildlife rehabilitation center that specializes in preparing animals for return to the wild. Anna immediately agreed, offering to transport them again when they were ready for the next stage. After 2 days of observation at the clinic, the veterinarian confirmed that the mother raccoon was responding well to treatment. The infection was under control, the stitches were holding the wound closed, and she was already able to put weight on her paw with less pain. The cub, completely healthy, had gained weight and energy with proper nutrition. Anna, who had returned to the clinic to monitor the progress, again offered to transport the animals to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, located about an hour away. The professionals gratefully accepted, preparing a ventilated and safe transport crate. Carefully, they placed the mother and puppy together in the new crate, lined with soft material and with limited room for movement. Anna positioned the crate in the back seat, securing it with the seatbelt to prevent swaying. During the journey, she maintained a constant speed, choosing smoother routes whenever possible. She observed the small movements inside the crate in the rearview mirror, noticing that the mother licked the puppy frequently, a sign that the bond remained strong despite the recent stress. Upon arriving at the center, she was greeted by a team specializing in the rehabilitation of wild animals. They registered the raccoon's arrival, noting the medical history provided by the clinic. Anna helped transfer the crate to the quarantine area, where the animals would initially be isolated to prevent contagion with other residents. Before leaving, she received explanations about the rehabilitation process that would follow, feeling relieved to know they were in experienced hands. At the rehabilitation center, the mother raccoon and her cub were placed in a spacious quarantine enclosure with a straw-lined floor, natural hiding places, and a separate feeding area. Handlers monitored the wound daily, changing dressings and applying healing ointments. The adult raccoon received painkillers mixed into her food to alleviate the pain, allowing her to move more without limping as much. The cub, curious by nature, cautiously explored the space, always returning to its mother for comfort and warmth. The feeding was carefully planned: fresh fruits, insects, nuts, and a specific feed for wild omnivores. Initially, the mother ate little, still affected by stress, but gradually recovered her appetite upon seeing the cub feeding vigorously. The professionals observed the behavior of both, noting signs of improvement in the maternal bond and interaction with the environment. The cub gained strength rapidly, playing with small objects placed in the enclosure to stimulate its natural instincts. Anna received updates by phone in the following days and was thrilled to learn that her paw was healing well and showed no signs of infection. The handlers explained that the quarantine phase would last about a week, followed by a transfer to a larger outdoor enclosure where they could practice skills necessary for survival in the wild before their final release. After the quarantine period, the mother raccoon and her cub were transferred to a larger outdoor enclosure designed to simulate their natural environment. The space included low trees for climbing, hollow logs as dens, a small artificial pond, and areas with soft soil for digging. The mother's paw had already fully healed, allowing her to move with agility again. The keepers gradually reduced direct care, encouraging the animals to forage for food on their own, hiding fruits, nuts, and insects around the enclosure to stimulate their foraging instincts. The cub, now more independent, spent hours exploring and practicing essential skills, climbing tree trunks, swimming in the shallow lake, and learning from its mother how to find food. The adult raccoon demonstrated full maternal behaviors, teaching the cub to identify simulated dangers and to hide quickly. Professionals monitored from a distance with cameras, recording daily progress and confirming that both were gaining adequate weight and strength for life in the wild. Behavioral tests were conducted periodically, evaluating the raccoon's reaction to human sounds and movements near their enclosure. The mother showed natural caution, without signs of excessive habituation to humans, which was essential for a safe release. The cub followed her example, maintaining a healthy distance. The handlers considered that, in a few weeks, they would be ready to return to the wild.
The keepers intensified activities in the enclosure to prepare the mother raccoon and her cub for their permanent return to the wild. They further reduced human presence, feeding them only at irregular times and from a distance, so that they would associate food with their own effort. They introduced more complex elements, such as food hidden in hard-to-reach places, forcing the mother to climb and dig, testing the full recovery of her previously injured paw. She responded quickly, demonstrating that the healing was complete and without sequelae.
The cub, now almost the size of a teenager, accompanied its mother on all tasks, learning escape routes, high vantage points, and techniques for longer swims in the artificial lake. The professionals conducted final health assessments, weighing, physical examination, and collection of samples to confirm the absence of parasites or diseases. Both presented ideal weight, shiny coats, and quick reflexes, clear signs that they were ready for independent life outside the center.
The team chose a release area near the original forest with abundant food, water, and natural shelter. They set a date for the coming days, planning nighttime transport to reduce stress and facilitate immediate adaptation. Anna was invited to accompany the final moment as a way of recognizing her initial role in the rescue. She accepted, eager to see the positive outcome of her intervention.
On the scheduled date, the center's team transported the mother raccoon and her cub back to their original forest at night, the ideal time to minimize stress and facilitate adaptation. Anna accompanied the process, observing from afar as they opened the transport crate in an area rich in natural resources, near the lake and dense trees where it all began. The mother emerged first, cautiously sniffing the air, checking her surroundings before allowing the cub to follow. Both moved confidently, demonstrating all the skills they had recovered and learned during rehabilitation.
Without hesitation, the adult raccoon guided the cub into the vegetation, climbing a nearby trunk and disappearing among the leaves. They didn't look back, a clear sign that they were ready to resume their independent wildlife. The handlers confirmed that there were no signs of human dependence, and the mother's paw was functioning perfectly. Anna felt a deep satisfaction seeing the happy ending, knowing that her initial intervention, combined with the professional work, ensured the pair's survival.
Months later, Anna would occasionally drive along the same dirt road and smile as she imagined the raccoon family living freely in the forest. The chance encounter turned into a memorable experience, reinforcing how simple, timely actions can make a real difference in wildlife preservation. The mother and cub thrived in nature, exactly where they belonged.
Compassion and quick action can save lives, even the most unexpected ones. In everyday life, when we encounter someone in difficulty, whether a person, an animal, or even a small situation, stopping to help, even if it requires extra effort, creates a positive impact that goes beyond the moment. Being attentive to our surroundings, acting calmly, and seeking specialized help when necessary are attitudes that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary and make us part of something bigger.
If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe to the channel to help me bring you more stories. Activate the notification bell and comment with your thoughts, tips, and suggestions in the comments. Take the opportunity to watch other videos on the channel and discover more inspiring stories.